Hey, beautiful people. Welcome to episode 8 of Credit 101, where we will be talking about the things that's inside your credit reports. So, when you guys get your credit reports, you have to understand that there's a lot of information that's in your credit reports, and we need to really know what accounts are listed, why are there so many accounts, and then how long these accounts are going to stay on your credit reports. So, let's get right on into it. If you guys have questions, drop them down below in the comments. Now, the first thing is you guys are going to have personal information on your credit reports. Now, when I say personal information, I mean like your name, your address, those different things that's listed on your credit reports. Now, I have an example here that I always use to show clients, and I usually show this example because I need people to remove old personal information from their credit reports so that they can get some accounts deleted if they have to do that. So, if you can see right here, the first thing is they'll show your credit report date. And remember, you have three main credit bureaus, which we're looking at this from Identity IQ. This is what it looked like on Identity IQ. Each bureau, each company you get your credit reports from, the layout is going to be different. This is what it looked like on Identity IQ. So they're going to tell you the date that you got that credit report. Then they'll have your name listed there. They'll also have like the also known as. You'll see some information may be there. Say maybe if you was married before, or if you use a different name, or if they even have a different name on there, they'll have it on there. And you can also see that in former name also. And then your date of birth will be listed there. Now, sometimes some bureau will only have your year, but since this is someone's information, I cannot show you exactly what it looked like, but sometimes they'll just have your year. You can see for Experian, I only covered up a small amount. They only had the year, but the other two bureaus had the full date of birth. And also the addresses, your current address. They'll have the current address that you're staying at right now as what's reported. They may not have your current address, but it's what's reported. When you apply for a credit card, we'll talk about inquiries. That's when an address will be added to your credit report. But whatever current address they think you're staying at, they have that there. Previous addresses, they keep every address on your credit report. They don't plan to delete these addresses, you guys. It's us that go in there and work to remove those different addresses. But the previous addresses are addresses that you once had as your current address, but once you get a new address that's your current, those previous address, the address that was once current is going to turn into your previous address. So you see those previous addresses there. They're also going to have your employers and also your current employer and your previous employer. So they'll have that information there. If you guys have any type of consumer comments, you guys will also see that information there. Now, usually consumer comments are when you will say, hey, I was in I had marriage went bad, and that's why you see these bad accounts. You come with excuse basically on why your accounts are negative. They can read that when they get your credit report. So that's what the consumer comment is. Hey, I once had fraud. You'll see that as one of the things that's on there for the consumer comments. But personal information, that is something that is going to be on your credit reports, and you guys need to know what personal information is out there for you, because sometimes you'll see other people's names and things like that, and you can see that your file has been merged with someone else's, which we are going to talk about later. Or sometimes you'll see identity theft. You need to have this information to make sure it's correct so that identity theft is not happening to you, which we are going to go over later also. Now, your accounts are reported monthly. Usually they have a set date that they report to the credit bureaus for you. I have a set sample credit report here. So let's actually look at that credit report. I just want to show you like the date that is really being reported. So if I zoom in some, this is an actual account. Say they right here, it says the date that it was last reported. Okay, so usually they're going to report on the same day. This one is bad because this company here is not reporting correctly. So, but you'll see the last day that they reported to each bureau. This is Experian. I think this is TransUnion, and this is Equifax. You'll see the date that they reported. Let's look at another example. So that's a bad example. They have different dates that they reported. Oh, this is a good example. The date is they reported on the 1st. So August 1st, 2019. This is a very older report. So you can see on the 1st, they're usually going to be reporting. So they report monthly, and they usually report on the same date every month. So you can count on them to report again September 1st, November, December, like that, October 1st. You can count on them to report on that same exact month, because that's normally what they do, because they report monthly, you guys. Now, accounts will be reported when they are in default. So say if you have a new account that maybe you had a collection or you have a charge off on your credit report, you had a credit card with Capital One. When it becomes in default, they're going to report that it is in default. You have not been paying on it. And when they sell it to a collection agency, that account will be reported. So that will be a new account on your credit reports. So you will see that account is reported. And then also public records. Public records, they cannot report tax liens or anything like that anymore. It was a law that stopped that. But what they can report is bankruptcy. So you guys will see bankruptcies being reported onto your credit reports. Also, inquiries. When you guys apply for credit cards, when you complete an application, you're going to get a hard inquiry. So you're going to see those inquiries listed on your credit reports. And we're going to go over that full credit report in episode 9. So if you want like a full breakdown of it, then definitely check it out. We're just talking about the different things that's on your credit reports for this episode. Now, accounts to stay on your credit reports for a different amount of time. Now, in your inquiries, they usually stay on your credit report for a year and a half or 2 years. If you guys have collections, charge-offs, those different type of accounts, they're going to stay on your credit reports for 7.5 years. And your bankruptcies are going to stay on there for 10 years. Now, remember, this is the standard on how long it's going to stay on there. You guys always can dispute accounts and get these accounts removed from your credit reports, especially if they're inaccurate. Like I just showed you that account, so many different things they're not reporting correctly. You can get these different accounts removed, and you don't have to wait the 7.5 years or the 10 years for a certain account to come off. But that's how long it's usually on your credit reports. Now, some information is not included on your credit reports, like such as things about your race, your religion, any type of medical history. That's not on this credit report. I talked about the third-party bureaus that may have some of this information, but the main 3 credit bureaus, they don't have this information. Also, things about your lifestyle, your political preference, they don't have that on there either. Or anything that's like really personally related, that's personal about you, that's not really related to credit, it's not going to be on there. So understand that. And also, if you guys are married, information like your spouse's account, unless you guys have a joint account, it should not be on your credit reports. It should not. Only things that you apply for, that you agree to be on the account for, say if you guys had a joint car auto loan, then that will be on your credit reports. If your spouse have a credit card and you're not on their credit card, it should not be on your credit report unless you become an authorized user on that credit card. Other than that, it should not be on your credit reports. Okay, so keep that in mind. So only your information should be on your credit reports. If you guys were to see some information that's not on your credit, that's not yours, and it's on your credit reports, please get this information off. I remember I had a client that had a negative. It wasn't negative, it was positive first. They had a credit card that was positive. It wasn't really theirs, but it was reporting to their credit report and it was helping them. And it ended up going bad. And then it was like, oh my gosh, Rickita, now I got to remove it. And they was like, you know what? Let's keep it on there when it was positive. But when it went bad, it was like, let's take it off. And that can happen at any time. Accounts could go bad. So definitely make sure you guys don't keep this information on your credit reports. Now, creditors, they have an automated system where they report this information to the credit bureaus, and we're going to talk about that also. They have a system where they're going to report it, and we want to get into like Metro 2 compliance, all of that, because it's a system that's reporting this information. That's why it's getting reported on a monthly basis, and sometimes they have errors within that system, which is why different things are being reported to your credit report that should not be there. Welcome to episode 9 of Credit 101. In this episode, we're going to go over a credit report in detail and look at the different accounts that's listed on your credit reports, like loans, collections, charge-offs, bankruptcies. We're going to look deep into these different accounts so you can see what they look like and how they should be reported. If you guys have any questions, drop them down in the comments. Now, in the last episode, we talked about the different accounts. So we went over like your personal information. We went over credit cards. We went over loans. We went over charge-offs, collections, public records, and also we talked about inquiries. I really want to take a deep look into these accounts so you guys can really see what they should look like. And if you guys have any questions, again, drop them down below in the comments. Now, I showed you guys in the last episode what it looks like to have a what it look like to have your personal information on your credit reports, and this is what it should look like. So you'll see your name is listed on your credit reports. Any former names that you have will be listed on your credit reports. Your date of birth will be listed. Your address will be listed also. And you also will see previous addresses. The credit bureaus do not like to remove any of this information from your credit reports. They like to keep it there. You guys will also see your current and your previous employer. Another thing that we can't see right here, but if you guys request a full copy of your credit report, then you guys will see any former names, past addresses, social security numbers. You guys may have different social security numbers listed on your credit reports. I had that before. Also, additional phone numbers. You guys may see additional phone numbers on your credit reports. So definitely you want to be able to know what phone numbers are listed, because you may need to remove those. And then two, your employment history, including your salary, could be listed. So these different things could be listed, but you want to make sure that this information is accurate, because if it's not accurate, it can hurt you and stop you from getting the credit that you want. So that's just the personal information that's listed. I have a sample credit report here. So let's actually go ahead and look at the sample credit report that we have here. So this is the credit report. It's just an example, you guys. Is a very old report. Got permission to use this report. None of this information, you can see, is not really somebody's. A lot of it is blanked out, so you can't even really see it. But I want to show you these different type of accounts. So right here we can see that this is an auto loan. Auto loan is an installment account. So that's the type of account that you have. So you have installment accounts. You also have revolving accounts, which is credit cards. Okay, and we're going to get into the other type of accounts, but those are like the two main ones you guys need to know, especially when you're building your credit. So this is the auto loan, which is an installment account. You can see they have the account number here, the account type, which is an installment. Account type details. It's not just a installment account, could be a mortgage too, you guys. That's an installment account. Anything that you pay on, you have a set amount of time to pay on it, and you have a set amount you have to pay for a certain period. That's an installment account. So this is an auto loan here. Not a bureau code. This is the individual account. Sometimes you will see joint if somebody is on that account with the person. You may see joint right there, but this is just an individual account. The status is different across all three bureaus. We're going to know exactly what bureau it is as we go down. So it's Experian and Equifax in the middle, and TransUnion is on the right. But you can see each bureau is reporting something different in terms of the account status. One says paid, other one says open, other one says closed. It's like, which one is it? The monthly payment is also listed here. Two bureaus have $0 and one bureau have $283. Now, the biggest problem, you guys, with your credit reports, you're going to see a lot of inaccuracies like this. So if you ever try to remove an account, this can be a reason why the account needs to be removed, because what is the correct monthly payment? I know this will probably make more sense than $0, but then again, it says it's paid. So is it no monthly payment now? And if you guys are getting a mortgage, this is going to be a problem for you also. Okay. So you want to make sure that you get things like this updated. Now, the date open, this is the date that they have open, but that you open the account. But again, it's different dates. Also the balance, that's how much you currently owe on that account. So now that we see that the balance is $0, I can see how the monthly payment would be zero. Why is this monthly payment not updated yet? That's a problem. Also, the terms. Remember, installment accounts have terms. That's a number of months that you have to pay on that account, and you're paying that monthly payment. So this one right here, the monthly payment is probably $283 per month, and they was gonna pay it for 49 months. That's probably what the real thing is. So basically, they was paying on it for 4 years plus an additional month. But that's what the terms are. It's 49 here, and you'll see that. The high credit, that's the most you ever owed on the account. Or sometimes with your credit cards, if you ever go over the limit, any amount that you ever went over, the highest amount you ever owed them at one period of time, it don't matter what period that was, that amount is there. Your credit limits are for credit cards. This is not a credit card, so you won't see a credit limit. If the account was past due, then you guys will see a past due balance here. Now, the payment status is saying that they're currently late 30 days. And I just don't see how this account is late if they're saying it's paid or it's closed and they don't owe a balance. But again, this is different reasons why these accounts need to be deleted or updated. The last date that it was reported to the Bureau is listed here. The comments, any comments about the account, sometimes you'll see comments like it's in dispute, the consumer disputes this information, or you'll see comments like it was sold to this company, especially if it was a charge off, and we'll get into that. But this really don't have comments. It is saying it's auto, and then it's saying it's closed. Last data activity. Last day of activity is the first day that you became delinquent on your account or the last day that you actually made a payment on your account. I like to go based off of the last day you made a payment on your account because that one is most accurate. So that's what your last date of activity is. And sometimes you'll see that they match. You see the last date of payment here. You can see these two match here because that's the last date activity. This one don't necessarily match, but then again, we know that last date activity right here must be wrong. But then again, it must be wrong too here because this is one account. It literally should have the same one thing across all three bureaus. We have to understand that. So that's something that's wrong with this account. This one account, three different bureaus is reporting three different things. That's a problem because it looks like you have three different accounts and it's not true. And then also your payment history is right here. So you'll see the last 2 years of your payment history listed down here at the bottom. Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion is just abbreviated. And then okay means that you're okay. It's paid on time. Everything is good. When you don't see anything like right here for March 2015, let me actually show you that you see March 15, that's 2015. Right here is nothing there. That's incomplete data. That means that they didn't report anything. And also on these spots here, they didn't report anything here also. And also you'll see that they have some 30 days in here, say 30. That means you was 30 days late. Sometimes you'll see 60, 90, 120, 150 days. That means how many days you were late. But that's how you would read a full account. Now, let me show you the different type of accounts because there are different types. So you have a revolving account here, which is a charge account. This is a credit card. It's an Ashley Stewart Community Bank because the name of the company is here. You'll see the account number here, the account type, and you see all these different red spaces. When you get your credit report from Identity IQ, you won't see this. But if you're learning all this information because you just started using credit and you're just trying to get your life back together and you need to start fixing negative accounts that you messed up on in the past, then these red marks means that there's different data and those are different reasons why the account should be deleted if you need to get deleted. Now, look at the payment status on this account. The payment status says that they're late 180 days, but then it also says the collection or charge off. Charge off means that they gave you 180 days usually to pay on that account. You never paid it. So most likely they're going to sell it to a collection company. And a collection company is going to be a new account on your credit report. And I'm pretty sure they're going to have some here. It's a new account on your credit report. And then this new company is coming after you to get some money. We're going to get into these different accounts. I just want you to know what your credit report should look like right now and you know what the different accounts will report as. Also, you can see the date open on here. Definitely always check that date. You want to make sure that that date is correct. And then your last date activity. The last date activity to me is the most important thing on any account, seriously, especially if you want to get it deleted. Especially if it's a collection account. It's a very important date for you all. But this is what a revolving account would look like. Now, it looked like they were on time with this account at first, but then look, they went 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, 120 days. But you can see how it's not even reporting correctly because if you can see here, let me make it a lot bigger for you all. So you can see right here, it's February 2019. Okay, Experian, that's the first one. It's saying you 90 days late. Equifax, 120 days late. And TransUnion, they're not saying anything, which is incomplete data. And if there's any incomplete accounts, you need to take it off. You got to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth when it comes down to these accounts, or they have to be removed. And that's something with the Fair Credit Reporting Act. So if you can see right here, look at your payment history if you ever want to get an account deleted. But if you guys are paying on your account, you should just always see okay. And as long as you see okay, you fine. If you ever see some 30 days late in here, you're going to see your credit score drop a lot. And you want to call them right away and tell them to update these different accounts. Okay, because you don't want to see any negative or 30 days, 60 days. You don't want to see that's going to hurt you. So again, they have another credit card here. You can see it's a credit card. It's a revolving account. It's derogatory. They're saying that it's a collection and charge off. You can see it have CO here, which means charged off. And again, when you see account is charged off, most likely they're going to sell it to a collection company. But I just want you guys to see what that account look like. Let's actually try to see if we can find us a collection because you guys really need to know what a collection look like. So let's actually scroll down and see. All of these are charged off. All of these are charged off accounts. Okay, so here's a collection right here. Midland Credit Management. That's the name of this collection company. Here's the account number that they have on here. The account type is an open account. a collection for account type details, the monthly payment, you should never have a monthly payment on a collection account, you guys. If you ever see a monthly payment, that's the reason why that account should be removed. And you should never want a collection to stay on your credit reports, ever. Always get that collection removed if you can, because that's going to help your credit score go up. So you definitely want to always get that removed right away. Also, the date open on it. When you're looking at a collection account, you want to see your date open. The balance in high credit should be the same, unless you've been paying money on your collection account. Then you'll see that maybe your balance is lower than your high credit. And look at the payment status right here, you guys. They said you it's late. I'm saying you, but they're saying that this client was late 120 days. You cannot be late on collection accounts. And collection accounts not supposed to have any type of payment history also, you guys. Okay. And then your last date activity, this is very important. And I know it's a lot of information, but for people that's repairing their credit, trust me, listen to this. It's going to be very, very important. Your last date activity should always be before the account was open, because don't forget, your last date activity is coming from your original account. Okay. Your original account, that's the last time you made a payment on your account. Okay. So this right here is before this date, but still you want to double check with that original account to see what's that real date, because that can be a reason why she get removed. Now we have another account here, which is a medical bill. It's a collection. So you guys, definitely, I want to show you guys these negative accounts because you need to know these, because a lot of times you're gonna have at least one account go bad. I haven't seen anybody that didn't have one account where they, unless you just started from the beginning right now and you're just going to learn and not make a mistake, usually you're going to know somebody with a collection account too. Now, again, look at this last data activity. The last data activity is after the account was open. That's not possible. That means that they're doing something called re-aging the debt. That means they're making it seem as if the account is basically not as old as it really is, which means they can stay on their credit report 7.5 years from this date, your last date activity. That's how long your account usually stay on there. So if they keep making this date later, such as this date right here, it's 5 years. They cut 5 years off of it, So now it seemed like a newer account, which means it's going to stay on there 7.5 years from this date. So please make sure you guys check them dates if you guys have any collections. So they have quite a few collections on the credit reports. As you can see, it's a lot of accounts on here, you guys. You're going to have a lot of accounts on your credit reports as you start building up your credit, but they have collections. Those we don't need. And when you guys have multiple credit cards, as long as they have good payment history, such as like okay, or say if you closed out an account, don't think about deleting that account or removing it. It helps you, because history is very, very important. And we're going to go into your FICO score and how that's factored, because history is going to be very, very important when it comes down to them accounts. Now, those are all their negative accounts. They also have some positive accounts here too. So you had a Wells Fargo account. They didn't have any late payments on it. So this is what your account is going to look like. As you can see, you still have errors on here. These red things mean there's errors still. But the account is positive. We want to leave it alone. It's helping to build their credit. What they need to do is remove all the bad things. And I always get this bad example. I just think it's a good example at the same time. Just imagine when somebody cheats on you. Okay. If you know about the other person, it's horrible. Okay. It's just horrible. But if they cheat on you and you don't know, you really don't have damage there until you know. So when you get a new girlfriend or new boyfriend, or if they get a new boyfriend or girlfriend, if they knew that you once cheated on this person and they still see the person, which is these negative accounts, they're not going to want to be with you. Same thing with the credit card companies. When they can see these negative accounts that you basically messed up with, they're not going to want to give you a credit card. So you kind of want to get it out the way and get that memory out the way. You don't want to have it on your credit reports. Now, with these positive accounts, that's going to start building them back up again, saying, okay, you're doing good. Oh, okay, I see you have good things going on. So these positive accounts, you want to keep them on, but those negative accounts, you need to remove them, okay? It's a bad reputation, basically. You want to remove that bad reputation from your credit reports. And you can see they do have some accounts. And look at this account right here. So they had an Ashley Stewart account. It was paid. It was never late. You can see all okay here. But you can see it was closed due to inactivity. So I always tell people every 60 days, I mean, every 6 months, go buy something. I don't care if it's $5. Wait till the statement come and pay it all the way off, okay? But you want to use your card or they can't close it due to inactivity. And they also could drop your limit too. They can lower your limit. If you guys are not using your credit card, they can lower your limit due to inactivity. And they have another one, Lane Bryant, they didn't use, or they stopped using it and it was closed due to inactivity. So you guys have to make sure that you guys use these accounts. If you don't use the accounts, you're going to see that a lot of your accounts are going to close, and you don't want your accounts to close. So we went over a lot of things. And the thing is, a lot of people always ask, why do you have so many different accounts? Because every time you apply for a credit card, once it's added to your credit report, it's called a trade line, and it's your personal trade line. It's your account, but all of these different accounts are going to add up. So the longer you have credit, the more accounts you should have on your credit reports. And it's good that you have a lot of accounts like that, because it showed that you was able to manage credit for a long extended period of time. If you guys have a new credit report, you know how much you need to have trade lines or accounts added that's personally yours. So credit cards, get these different accounts added to your credit reports, and you will see that when you only have one or two, you really can't get credit cards. But when you guys start building, you start adding more credit cards on, and now you have a better history, you're going to see that you're able to get more credit cards. But that is an in-depth report of what's on your credit report. If you guys have any questions, definitely let me know. Let's go over to episode 10 so we can talk about these different credit scores and other different factors that's going into your account. I'll see you guys over there.